Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weiss. I thank you for joining us, however you may be joining us. We appreciate it very much. You know, we always like to check in to see the status updates and get reports on what's happening in all of the different areas, but especially in one area where we look at our Lafourche Port and the Executive Director of the Greater Lafourche Port Commission, Chet Fourchon, joins us again. Chet, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay today. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. Well, you know, we always like to check in and see how things are going. I know it's been a couple of weeks. Give us a bit of an update on what's happening with the port.
So we're continuing to move forward at Port Fourchon and at the South Fourche Airport. Just we have projects that are ongoing in terms of bulkheading and things like that, but also obviously in the aftermath of Ida, continuing to do recovery projects. Debris removal. That is fortunately finalizing in the next week or so. There may be our contractors going to take a week or so off for between the holidays, but we're going to get all that debris out of the port. And we're also working, because when you're dealing with debris, you have public right of ways and then you have state right of ways. So the right of ways that we're in charge of, we can take the debris off of, but the right of ways at DOTD, which is the main highway they're in charge of LA 3090 in Port Fourchon. We're working out an agreement with DOTD so that we can actually go and get rid of that. So we can have all of the debris out, because when you lose, I guess for lack of a better term, that eyesore kind of feels like you're recovering. So we want to make sure that the port is looking as best as it can as we move forward into next year.
You know, it's a really good point. We've seen that in other areas where you at least see that yourselves as a certain point in recovery, and getting that debris away is kind of like wiping away the eyesore, if you will, of the damage and the impact. So congratulations on being a week or so removed from getting that debris off of the port itself. And I love the fact that y'all are offering to help out, saying, allow us, let us get some of that debris off the road for you as well. And that way people don't have to see it on the way in and out either, right?
That is correct. And it's like it just makes you feel better. And sometimes the psychological is the most important. And as we move forward, seeing progress, having things, actual work taking place in the port, normal work as well as recovery work. It's just going to make progress every day and make things better as we move forward.
Speaking of, can we talk a little bit about the activity? I know that you guys were about 85–90% of where y'all needed to be or wanted to be.
Yep.
Where are we now with regards to the operations and just the impact of people working?
Sure. So, we're operating, our customers, our tenants of the port are operating at everything that they possibly can. So
awesome.
we're at not full capacity from a facility standpoint. However, we can operate and service everything that needs to be serviced. So we have 100% capacity to service 100% of the activity that we need to service. Our facilities are not in full service because of some of the damages that took place.
Right.
But that was extra capacity at this point. In the last 6 years, we know where we've been, especially in the last year and a half with COVID and all of that. So we're in good shape in terms of capability to service, and we're still in growing phase in terms of building more bulkheads. So we have extra capacity and the capability to meet the demand, and any opportunities that come our way at Port Fourchon, we can meet that demand as well.
What a credit to you and your team about being able to get to that point. I got to tell you that not every business area, not every business as large as yours, and the capacity for what you provide and how that is provided is able to get to that point that quickly. So y'all were able to do that very, very quickly. And it was some strategy, if you will, that if something were to happen, we need to be able to do this to be at full capacity to take care of all of these things. And so it's just great news for the temerity and the group and the effort that's been put.
We appreciate that, and thank you. We work hard every day. We have great people here. We have a great community. We have a great tenant base. So everybody works together to get that job done, because we know how important it is that we're operating. not just from a local standpoint, but from a national standpoint in providing energy. And that's last week. You asked for me to come on, and I couldn't come on last week because I was out of town.
Right.
I was in San Diego, California, at American Association of Port Authorities Commissioners Seminar, where a couple of our commissioners here from the Port Commission went, and I attended as well. They asked our port directors to attend those seminars as well, and I actually was part of the program. I actually spoke about Port Fourchon, how we operate, and our recovery from Hurricane Ida, and the things that we did to get back up and running so quickly. And it's good to be able to now sit back and look at, even though we have more work to do, sit back and look at that response, that immediate response post-storm, and see that there was some successes there. So we're always going to can and will do better when we kind of look on the back end of how we responded. But and all in all, I think we did a pretty good job, and we're happy with that, and we're going to continue to work hard to do what we can every day.
Well, it's really interesting, and we'll talk about that organization, American Association of Port Authorities, when we get a chance to come back from break. But it wasn't just that. I mean, you guys showed how resilient you were from Hurricane Zeta a year ago, and now here a more difficult hurricane in Ida as well. And so it's nice to see that people nationally are recognizing not only the importance of what the port here in Lafourche does and what it provides for our nation, but identifying and showing you guys about examples of what to do. Chet, you were alluding to how the port has done, and you've been awfully humble about how well you have done, and people are recognizing that. And so nationally they're recognizing that. Kind of interesting. I don't know that anybody really knows the timeline of what's been done, but nice little article that was put out. I know they did a little interview for you, and we'll talk about the award that they provided you with, but I just kind of want to share that initially, the very first day after the storm, as Chet did a flyover, his first comments was, don't get me wrong, it's bad, but the damage is not catastrophic, and there is hope. I love the fact that your first response was, there's hope, and we're going to be able to do some things about it. And then you proved it by one day later, U.S. Coast Guard opened Belle Pass, safe to traverse and with some restrictions. Then 9 days later, following landfall, tenants began resuming operations on the port. And then within 5 weeks of Ida's landfall, all critical services had been restored to the port and its tenants. I know a lot of people don't know that, and if we don't talk about it, you're not going to say it. But that's an incredible feat after Ida and what it's done with 200-mile-an-hour winds that were sustained and 10 feet of water at the port.
Yeah, it was, and we're very proud of that fact. And it takes a lot of people to work together, and a community work together, a staff, a port community, different businesses down here who help stage equipment so we can clear roads and do those things, and it takes a lot of cooperation. And from our parish leadership on down to a local entity like the Port Commission, we all work together to make sure that we get the job done and keep people safe, but at the same time understand that our economy and our energy needs are critical, and we have to just get it done, and
Right.
and that's what we do, and we're going to continue to do that for a long time, knock on wood. But we're whenever you get recognized for the hard work that you put in, this is not a Port Commission award, really. It's an award for the entire port community and our community as a whole, and everyone that works with us in being recognized as a shining star port. And because of our reaction to a catastrophic event, we're just gonna continue to work hard and try to be an example of positive and things that can be done when everyone works together.
Well, and you echo that, and it's something that was recognized. And so I want to let people know that Port Fourchon was selected as the standout port for 2021 by the American Association of Port Authorities, the AAPA. And so, again, we congratulate you for that. One of the things that you saw just a day or two after the hurricane was hope. Let's talk about what that hope looks like for Port Fourchon. And as we got just a few minutes left in the segment, talking about where things are moving to and what your expectations are for the port.
So we're very happy to say that and see that there was a lease sale just a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lot of interest there. So and all the projections for the coming year is that there's going to be some focus on exploration in the deepwater Gulf of Mexico, and then, as you know, that's our bread and butter. So to hear that, and we're going to see some uptick in business, we hope, in 2022. That's a great thing for our community, our region, our state, as we move forward. And continuing that, we still have plans. Hurricane Ida did not change any of our plans as we move forward for deepening the port and trying to do things to diversify our port, as well as embarking on renewable sources of energy like offshore wind that there's a focus on right now, because we understand that there should and needs to be a balanced approach to energy for our country. It includes, obviously, oil and natural gas, and it always will, because it's the base of everything we know and enjoy every day. But there will be some renewable sources of energy, and we're going to position ourselves as best we can to take part in that if and when it does happen.
And again, finding a balance, or striking a balance, if you will, between those two, understanding and recognizing our history, what it is that we use right now and what we depend on, and finalizing some of the options, some of the best options to move forward. I know a lot of people are looking at that type of energy that they want to change to, and that's fine. We got to find the balance between the two and not just throw out the old because it's an older way of doing things.
That's correct. And it's not smart to want to push that aside when in reality, oil and petroleum products are what turns the world at this point, and the technology doesn't exist to move completely away from it. So again, balanced, smart approach to energy for our country and our world is where I think the reality is, and that's how we're going to move forward. And we're very, very proud to be on the forefront of that, and really highlighting how industry and the environment can and do work very well together. And you can see that at work in Port Fourchon every day.
Well, we appreciate it very much. Always appreciate your time. Thanks for the recommendations and what y'all are doing. And more importantly, congratulations on people recognizing the hard work and the accolades that you're getting over at Port Fourchon.
Thank you very much. We appreciate
All right,
it.
Chet. And again, Chet Chasson, the Executive Director of the Greater Lafourche Port Commission. That'll do it for this particular segment. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Bayou time when we continue.